This one is probably the fastest contract I've ever signed. Yo, what's up? We are here outside of 805 Via Flores in El Paso, Texas, on the latest subject to property that we just acquired. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Chris Silva. Make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment down below. On this channel, I want to bring you along my journey on my way to build a $1 billion real estate portfolio. And I want to bring the most value to you guys. And I want to show you exactly how I'm doing it, what strategies I'm using, and how creative finance has changed my life and how it could change your life. So if you gained something or learned something today, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. So this deal came from what we call a bird dog. Now a bird dog is somebody that is out there scouting properties. This bird dog specifically specializes and focuses on foreclosures. What he does is he grabs post-it cards, the colored different post-it cards, and goes door knocking to, depending what side of town he's in. He uses green for the west side, orange for certain zip codes, pink for the east side of El Paso. So he breaks them up, gets all the foreclosures. Wherever you're at, your city, your county, there is a website where you can see all the foreclosures that are happening in your city. So that's exactly how he does it. Based off of that, this deal, he came to door knock it. No one lives here, so what he ended up doing was skip tracing the property. He ended up getting a hold of one of the sellers. So when he made contact with the seller, he then connected the seller with somebody on my team, Mr. David Lopez. Shout out to David. David Lopez then jumped on the phone with the seller. He let the seller know, listen, we specialize in these types of deals. The seller was on foreclosure. This was literally probably about 3 weeks away from hitting the auction. Now, being that time was of the essence, so this one is probably the fastest contract I've ever signed. So based on David doing a good job with the seller, when they put me in contact with the seller, they asked me to call the seller. I called the seller, one of the sellers, and when I jumped on the phone with the seller, I said, hey, listen, my name is Chris Silva. I specialize in these types of deal. We're very interested in your property, and we would like to move on this property. We see you're in foreclosure. What we plan on doing is going to subject to this deal, meaning we're going to take over your payments. We're going to catch up your arrears. The arrears are whatever she's behind. So in this case, she was behind about $20,000. We're going to take over your current payment and we're going to catch that up. She said, okay, Chris, send me the contract. Literally within 5 minutes or less, she asked me to send her over the contract without even asking any of the details. Now, I sent over the contract at the moment. She signed and she was about to hang up the phone. But for me, it's very important to build relationships with my sellers. Now, I could tell you how simple it was to get the contract signed. This is probably one of the fastest contracts I've ever gotten signed. However, my next question to her was, I want to ask you, why did you end up in this situation? Now, based on that question, I ended up staying on the phone with this lady for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. If you guys want to check that video out, the whole conversation is on my Instagram at Chris Ryan Silva. On there, I recorded the whole thing. And the biggest thing is, we built a relationship. I identified her problems. I understood what was happening. She went through a separation. It was not good, but at the end of the day, like I told her, and I want to tell you, whatever you're going through, you can always overcome. There's always a solution to your problem. In this case, she was willing to let it go to foreclosure. However, she had just given up, was gonna lose it, gonna have a foreclosure on her record. She didn't care. However, since we were at the right place, right time, and we were the right person, it's very important for you to be at the right place at right time, but to be the right person at the right place at right time, that's going to allow you to do so much more. Now, in this case, that's exactly what happened. So now, based off of that, we knew there was an ex-spouse involved. We had no contact with him. We had no phone number for him. So we had some work to do. Now, on this contract specifically, through that 1 hour or one and a half hour conversation, through that time, our TC started working on this file. Now, basically what we do once we get a contract is we send that contract to the title company, and then we get a reinstatement from the bank. The reinstatement is going to tell us exactly how much money we need to get the loan current. Meaning we're gonna bring up the loan current and then we're gonna continue making the payments. The best thing about this specific deal is this is at a 4.25% interest rate. In today's market where prime is at 7.5, we were able to pick this up at a 4.25% interest rate. So again, this is through subject to. We're going to catch up the arrears. We're going to take over her current payments at a 4.25% interest rate. So at this point, we got to get to work. We got her assigned, now we got to get her ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-spouse on board. So what we do is we send the contract to title, open up title, we get the reinstatement fee, we find out she's behind $20,000 and there is equity in this house, which is another plus on the deal. So not only are we picking it up at a 4.25% interest rate, there is equity in this deal. The equity is the difference between the payoff amount and however much the house is worth. I don't have those documents right in front of me. However, I know there is equity. Another thing that I want to make very clear is I bought this house without even seeing it. This is my first time I'm even going to see it. I actually closed on this property last Friday. The auction was on Tuesday. So we were just a couple of days, 2 business days away from this house getting foreclosed on, getting sold at auction. I bought this house sight unseen based on the numbers. You guys got to remember, real estate is a numbers game, and knowing what you could do with this property even makes it that much better. But the biggest thing that I want to teach you is you got to focus on the next step, not all the steps. See, look at how many people were involved in this deal. There's going to be this many people that are going to get compensated on this deal. Now, after we were able to get her signed, got the reinstatement, then we asked the title company for the documents, for all the docs, and then we went to work to go find the husband. David actually, our ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-spouse, whatever he was, David actually had to call this guy 15 times. He called him 15 times until he answered, and it was at that point that he was able to get a hold of him. The guy told him he was at work. At that same moment, Ben took the action to go show up to his job, let him know what was happening, and Ben built a relationship with him. This guy was in the law enforcement industry, so if he were to have a foreclosure on his record, that wouldn't look good for him. We explained to him exactly what we were doing. He was at the point where he didn't care if he was going to lose a house. He given up, he doesn't care. So in this case, we let him know how we were going to help him, how a subject to deal would benefit him, how he's no longer gonna have a foreclosure on his record. He's no longer going to have this show on his credit, and he's not gonna lose a house. So in this case, we let him know exactly what we were doing. He was on board, he signed the docs, signed the contract, and at this point, we were racing against time. The next steps to this process was we had to send the funds to the bank. So the wire went out on Friday. Now, you have to remember, we had to fund this deal before Tuesday when the auction is. So the wire went out on Friday. Come Monday, the bank said the wire went through. The account was caught up. So meaning the bank received the wire of the $20,000 on Monday. They pulled the house from the auction. Both wife and husband already had signed on Friday. Title company sent the wire to the bank. Guess what? The deal funded. We were able to pick up this property with 0 credit, 0 credentials. And I'm gonna tell you guys, how I got this house with 0 cash out of pocket. We ended up going to get an investor, $20,000. He invested the $20,000 to this property, and now we're gonna pay him a monthly interest on that money, which is then going to allow us to create a win-win-win-win-win situation for everybody involved in the deal. Now, this is why I always say real estate is not just a one-man show. There is so many people that are going to make this happen. And if you're somebody that wants to help me get to $1 billion and still want to make money, still want to learn, guys, I recommend you join my morning Zoom call every Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I host a free Zoom call talking about creative finance. On there, you're going to find all of the gold that you need to know to go out there and start doing more deals. Not only are you going to learn, you're going to have the opportunity to network with all of the people in the Zoom call that's going to show you all the like-minded individuals that are just exactly like you. And if this is your first time or you're somebody that's wanting to get into real estate, wanting to start, or even if you're somebody that's in real estate and wants to do more, this is the room you want to be in, because you want to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Now, as you guys see, this is my first time. I'm going to walk this property. I have never seen this property. We closed on it last Friday. We're gonna turn around. We're gonna create cash flow, baby, on this deal. 4.25% interest rate. Let's go check it out. Like I said, this is my first time seeing this house, and it's a big house. Based on when I looked at it, I think it was close to 4,000 square feet. Wow. So you got, I guess, dining room, formal living room. You got the kitchen, you got the outdated countertops. Oh, look, you got a pool, baby. Oh, shit. Sheesh, brother. I'm going in, boys. Should I jump in? Sheesh, brother. Again, guys, I want to show you that this is not easy, but it's very simple. When you put yourself in a position to be around like-minded individuals, it's going to allow you to do that much more. I guarantee there is a deal in your town right now that of somebody exactly in a situation like this that needs your help. The opportunity is endless. You just got to go out there, you got to create it, and you got to grab it, and you got to take the action. Remember, you're one decision away from an entire different life. You're one decision away, one conversation away, one relationship away from going out there to do deals. All these deals are everywhere. It is endless. 4.25% interest rate, picking up a property subject to taking over someone's payments, helping somebody from foreclosure, helping an investor stop his money from burning, helping other people around in the team, the bird dogs, the connector, everybody involved. If you learned something from this, please make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Follow on all my channels, social handles. Make sure you comment down below anything that you learned and something that I should talk about on this channel. I want to make sure that I am bringing you value based on everything that I've learned. How can I help you go out there and be successful? Let's grow, baby.